Another night, in my dream, I was on a hill. I could see a full crowd of people around me. A sound came and told me, "Come to above." I was searching for the source of the sound in the crowd. I felt that they were talking to me, but I didn't know who it was. How can I go to the sky? I thought. He said it again, "Come to the sky." I was still searching. I couldn't see anybody talking to me or facing me. I said to myself, how can I go to the sky? He said, "Look above you." I looked up and I could see a hand. He said, "Give me your hand." I grabbed the hand and he pulled me up. All of a sudden, I was standing in the sky, standing up, and nobody saw me or wondered, what is this guy doing there? How can he stand there? Nobody cared. Then a terrifying sound came. It filled all the heavens and the earth. It was like thunder. He said, "Look at those people. They are thinking about everything, but they don't think about two things." I said, "What are these two things?" He said, "Death and Judgment Day." Nobody thinks that one day they will die, and they don't think Judgment Day is coming. But look at them, how I will catch them in a moment when they can't do anything. Subhanallah, an earthquake started. I saw the entire planet scattering and falling apart. All the stars are falling. I was standing and watching it. I was also scared that it was going to hit me. The people below couldn't even lift their hands. The earth was cracking and water was also coming out, filling the entire earth until there was nothing left, only water on earth. SubhanAllah, I later heard a tafsir of one of the surahs, I cannot remember right now, where the imam was talking about how water will fill the earth on the Day of Judgment, and I remembered my dream right away. All the animals, people, and trees were floating on the water. I could see them. Everyone was dead. Then a tunnel opened up, and all the water with everything in it was sucked into it. Allah only knows where it went. It cleared up, and then the sound told me, "Go down." I went down. I was thinking, oh, wallahi, it was true. Nobody was thinking about death a moment ago. Everybody was busy with their business. Look what happened to them. I was checking out the other stuff when the sound told me to go down further. I went to the top of the tunnel. I didn't know how to go through it. I told myself I would slide on the edge. I closed my eyes and went down sliding. When I got there and opened my eyes, I couldn't believe it. Whoever had ever lived on this earth was there, sitting down. All the animals, the cute ones and the scary ones. Every living being was there. Everyone was facing the ground, not stirring or looking at the person next to them to see if it was their relative, their mom, or their mother. It was obvious everybody was thinking about themselves. I also sat down. I saw a group that was walking around. They had something like a file and they were reading names. They were huge. The group was about 3 times the size of a person. They weren't human. They were reading names and calling one out. Once they read a name, that person had to stand right away. Even if there were multiple people with the same name, only the one they meant would rise. The others would remain sitting still. You would know if it was you or not once they read the name. There was a guy sitting next to me. They called his name. I cannot remember his name. He rose and stood right away. Once they read his name, they came to him and told him, "You have 3,000 sinful acts. Look at it and confirm that you have done them all." He took his paper and sat down again. I was curious. I wanted to see how it was. He opened it, and subhanallah, it was like there had been a camera on his shoulder since he was born. Everything was recorded. He could see everything that he had done. Every single second of his life was there. He looked at it for a while, and then he stood up and started digging a hole. I was surprised and asked him, "Sir, what are you doing?" He said, "Leave me alone. I didn't believe God existed, nor the Judgment Day. I didn't think any of this was real." A more surprising thing is that I saw this man last year on TV, on the BBC. He was there talking. Once I saw him, I was telling myself, where did I see this guy? Then I remembered. Oh, that's the man who was digging the hole and saying that he didn't believe in God or any Judgment Day. My wife said, "No, he's a Shia Muslim. They believe in God. They believe in the Judgment Day." We were watching him. He had been imprisoned by Saddam's forces before and was now in England sharing what happened to him in prison. And all of a sudden, the reporter asked him, "You were imprisoned by Saddam. Why did you leave Islam?" "Subhanallah, God wanted to show me that." He answered, "When we were in prison, we had a regular visitor who brought books, like the Bible and other religious books. Once I read them, I knew they were all the same. They just copied from each other. Then I knew judgment, God, it is all made up." My wife was amazed and said, "Oh, he said the same thing that you told me." Okay, let's go back to the dream. The same man said, "In the dunya, I didn't believe in God and the resurrection day. I know what is waiting for me. Leave me alone. I'm hiding myself in this hole. I will die in the hole. It is better for me than what is coming." He didn't have any tools. There wasn't anything. Anyway, he was digging it by hand. He finished the hole and lay down in it, and he said, "Please, help me put the soil back on top of me and bury me." I did what he said. I buried him completely. Once I was done, it was like the earth spit him out. The earth threw him out, and also an angel came to him right away. "You can't hide. You are not going anywhere. Today is the day to pay back. Don't worry, nobody will wrong you here. You will get what you deserve. Sit down." The man started crying and begging. I got pulled up to another place. It looked like the throne, and there was a curtain and two angels who were reading names one by one. They didn't call me, but I could see what was going on there. I saw Ibrahim. They brought him. I knew him. I only knew his name, and a couple of times we played soccer together. He was older than me. He stood in front of the throne and started crying and begging. I could hear God's voice. He said, "Get up. You have a witness against you. If he forgives you, you can go. Look at the justice." He didn't say go right away. He had wronged somebody, so that person had to forgive him, then God would let him go. I was waiting for a guy to show up, but can you believe it? A tree showed up. It stood next to Ibrahim with all its roots and stood there. God said, "What is your verdict against my servant?" The tree spoke. Can you believe it? It had the ability to speak. I was confused. I couldn't believe it. I was amazed at the things that I was seeing. The tree said, "Oh God, nothing is missing from you. You know what he has done to me." God said, "No, say it so that he knows what he has done." The tree said, "Oh God, I was a tree in a corner, not on his property. He didn't have any right to do anything to me. When people were going to the city, they were waiting under my shade for the car to pick them up. They always said, 'Thank God for this tree that is here. We can relax and wait in the shade for the car.' They were praising you because of me." It was talking like a human. This guy, out of greed, he cut me down so people couldn't wait there. And then he took me and made tea with my wood for 4 years. The tree was repeating the sentence. "Oh God, I wasn't in his property. He didn't have any rights over me." And God said, "What do you want to do with him? Do you forgive him, or do you want to punish him?" The tree said, "Oh God, I have only one life. I don't have another. I am ready to be his fire in hell. I burned him without any right. I want him to be burned too. That's the only thing I want." They pulled Ibrahim up, and the tree went under him. He burned. He completely burnt even the bones. I could see how much suffering he went through. They both, the man and the tree, became ash. The wind took the tree's ash, and Ibrahim rose again from the ash. He came back to life. He said, "Oh, is it done?" An angel came with a chain of fire, put it around his neck, and pulled him by his face. They told him, "You are not done yet." They took him to a place where there was a big black fire, and they put him in it. It was really scary. Imagine what he went through just because of one tree. Then I came back to my place. I was back in my previous place and sitting down. How I saw that incident, only God knows. Then they called my name. I saw this dream after I started praying. The angelic being said, "You have 3,850,000 sinful acts." We think, how can a man have that many sins? But we are not reflecting. Our eyes, our hands, our feet, our tongue, All of them are counted and piling up." When the angel said that, the man next to me, the one who was digging the hole, started laughing at me. He said to me, "I am here with 3,000 sins and not hoping for anything. What are you hoping for now?" And he was laughing. At the same time, my heart got heavy. I was so scared, but I was also hopeful. I was telling myself, I was praying, and I have repented to God, and He saved me from the hellfire. Then I started to check the book they gave me once they called my name. I could see everything from when I was born, and I could see all the things that I had done. I was so ashamed of what I had done. It was all recorded. You couldn't deny any of it. It was all there. I closed my book and started to think. I couldn't see anybody. I got lost in myself and deep thoughts, just like the other people I told you about. I was in regret for everything that I had done. And then an angelic being appeared in front of me. I was like an ant compared to him. I couldn't even see his head, he was that tall. He said, "Why are you so worried?" I said, "Today is the day. What should I do?" He said, "Didn't you bring anything with you?" I started to check my pockets. He said, "No. Believers, when they were in the dunya, they were sending things ahead of them." I said, "Like what?" He said, "Like the daily prayers, good ethics, good deeds, charity. What have you sent here before coming?" I got a little hopeful because at that time I was starting to pray, but it wasn't too long. It wasn't even a year to have at least one Ramadan of fasting. He said, "Think harder. You have brought something that is huge. It is going to help you a lot." I was trying so hard to think of it, but nothing. I couldn't think about anything. I didn't know what it was. He said, "Let's go." We went together. We separated from the crowd. Slowly, a huge, magnificent throne started to appear. It was huge. The earth wasn't even a grain of sand compared to it. A lot of angels were standing around it. I was thinking in my mind without saying a word, "Oh God, who is that?" Before it even fully formed in my mind, He was telling me what I was thinking. Whatever I thought or came to my mind, He knew it right away. We got close to the throne, and all the angels started to prostrate. He went up and sat down on the throne. Then I figured out His might and magnificence. He is not a creation. He doesn't even look like one. I could tell the angels look like they are created, but this one, I couldn't even tell what he is. After all the angels went into sajda, He sat down and said, "You still haven't figured out who I am?" I said, "You are God." I went into sajda too and started begging Him. "God, please forgive me. I have wronged myself. I have done a lot of sinful acts. Please forgive me." I was asking for forgiveness for a while. Then God said, "Get up. I have no need of your fasting or your prayer. By my glory and might, if everyone you see were to believe and do everything right, it would not add to my power and might. And by my glory and might, if everyone were to disbelieve, it would not affect me at all. Whatever you do is for yourself. The reward is just for your own good, and the hellfire is also what you choose for yourself." He put his hand in my book and took out one paper. He said, "Do you know what that thing is that you brought with yourself?" I tried to think hard, but I couldn't find anything. I said, "By your glory, I don't know what that is." He said, "When you were sinning, you were regretting it right away and saying, 'Nobody saw me, but God is always watching me.' That is why you are regretting it. You were at least cautious about me and you recognize my presence. Your regret was coming from the fact that you knew I saw you, and because of that, I will forgive you. Go and write my name 100 times, and I will forgive all your sins." I was the happiest person. I came with all my sins, and I got forgiven. But the guy with just one tree didn't get forgiveness because his sin wasn't against God's rights. He is just. Then God said, "Do you remember I sent Noah to you in your dream? Do you remember I sent Jesus? Do you remember I sent Moses to you in your dream? Do you remember I sent your prophet to you in your dream? Do you remember you didn't do what you promised? Do you remember you lived 7 years, 6 months and 4 days in the hellfire? Do you remember nobody was willing to help you and ask for forgiveness for you? Do you remember if I hadn't rescued you, who would have? He said all that to me again. An angel gave me a paper and a pen and took me to a place. It was like a raised platform, and a group of people was there. It looked like they had a similar situation to me. I sat down and started to write his names. I only knew Allah, Al-Rahman, and Al-Rahim. That was all I knew at that time. All of a sudden, I could know every name and started writing all of them. Once I finished, God called me again and said, "Sit here." I sat under the chair. I wasn't even like an ant there. I was that small compared to the throne. If God gives you his shade, it is amazing. I could see people coming close for judgment, and he was carrying out his judgment. Only he knows how fast he was. I could hear the people who came and went, and I could hear some of them saying, "Who is that prophet sitting there?" They were referring to me. Whenever I heard that, I was doing sajda to God, showing my gratitude and saying, "Oh God, you hid my sinful actions. You put me here. You didn't show my actions. They think I am a prophet. Glory be to you." I was still the sinful guy. Look, that's why Prophet Muhammad said to not share and to hide your sins. And that way, God will not share your sin if you deserve it on the day of judgment. Keep your sins between you and God and ask for forgiveness. Inshallah, he will forgive you. SubhanAllah, I shared my dream with someone and he didn't believe me even though he was a believer. Then one day he said, "I read a hadith exactly like your dream." He said it is a hadith that says God will separate a person and people will ask, "Which prophet is that guy?" Then God ordered the angels, "Take him and show him the hellfire." I was scared, but I also said to myself, it is God who ordered. I shouldn't be scared. The 2 angels held me up and went. I saw a place. It was sharp, just like a knife. There was a black fire under it, and it had hooks on the side. You could see how sharp it was, even though we were far away from it. I asked the angels, "What is that place?" One of them answered, "It is the Sirat Bridge. All of mankind has to go through that whenever they go to paradise or to the hellfire." I said, "Who can go through that sharp path? Even if you put your foot on it, it will be cut into 2 pieces." One of the angels said, "It is not like that. They go like lightning, or like the wind, or struggling, or by running, or they fall down. They go by the deeds that they brought with themselves." The angel was explaining it to me, and I was too scared to ask them to let me go and try it. I was so scared, I was still afraid to fall down and go to hellfire because of the bridge. They took me down layer by layer. We went down, they were holding my arms. I could see the punishments that I had already tasted. I saw a guy skinning off another guy, and I saw a huge snake catching another guy. We reached layer 4. I saw my big brother. Once I saw him, one side of him was cut off. It was really sad, and he started staring at me, looking into my eyes. I could feel his pain, and he was asking me to help him, and I didn't have any authority. I started to cry and beg God, "Oh God, please by your might and glory, please save him. He is my brother. He is my blood." Then I heard God's voice. He said, "Make supplication. He might go back to the straight path." They took me to a layer below. My heart was in pain. We reached layer 6. I saw a beast that had surrounded my dad. He was half his body cut off, and he was crawling towards me, asking me to help him. I lost my mind. I went mad when I saw my father like that. It was really hard to see my father begging for help and not being able to do anything for him. I started begging God again. "Oh God, please help him. Please forgive him. He is my father." Then God said, "Make supplication for him. May he find the right path. Look at the layers of their position." After I shared my dream with them, my older brother started to pray, but my father still is not doing it. He still doesn't care. They brought me up. I couldn't focus after what I saw. I was just crying. They brought me back in front of Allah. He comforted me. It was like I had never seen hellfire or had never been sad before. It was like he programmed me again. I was so comfortable. It was like I was just born without any worry. Then he said, "Take him and show him paradise." The two angels grabbed me again. Subhanallah, hellfire was down and paradise was above. I could smell an amazing scent. I couldn't believe the goodness of the smell. It is indescribable. I was waiting to get there, but it was a long way. I couldn't wait to get there. We arrived at the door. There was a garden and spring trees. I cannot describe it to you. It is really hard to put into words. I saw a creature. It was like a butterfly, I would say. I stared at it for what felt like more than 10 years. I was amazed by it, by its beauty. I didn't even go in. They showed me from the outside. That was it, just the outside. Beyond imagination, if you go in, how amazing it would be. Then they brought me back. I was happy. I was telling myself, I've been through it and I passed the judgment day. I got forgiven. This is great. God told me, Abu Fazl, all those things you saw, it's all a dream. Believe me, I wished to die at that moment. I said, how? He said, it's a dream, just like the other ones you saw. Do you remember you did the Isha prayer? Yes, I do remember, I said, and I had asked God. I said, "Oh God, all these people who ever lived, and those who are living now, and the others who will be living in the future, how is it possible to resurrect all of them and judge all of them?" I had thought about that right after the Isha prayer. And then he said, after the prayer you asked how I can bring all those people to life and judge them, you saw how I will do it. And then I said, "Oh God, I have something to tell you." God said, "I know what it is, but you can say it." I said, "Oh God, please take my soul right here, right now. I do not want to go back to the dunya. I have already seen everything and you forgave me. I don't want to go back and start again and do more sin." He said, "No. Everyone in the dunya has their time. They have to live it, not more and not less. If you stay on the right path, you will go to paradise. And if you go astray, then hellfire is waiting for you. But do not forget my mercy." And he said, "Wake up from your sleep." Once he said that, I woke up right away.